Hi to everyone who's joined this webinar. We're just going to wait a couple of minutes. You'll see lots of people joining, so it's going to be a busy one today. So if you just bear with us, then we'll just accept everybody who's joining and we'll start just after 2 o'clock. If anyone's just joined, thank you for joining us on this Milton Keynes College Q&A session. As you can probably see, you might have heard me saying this already. We're just admitting anybody who's just joined. So yeah, you're in the right place. Just bear with us while we accept everybody who wants to be part of this webinar. Okay, I think we might as well get started. Thank you to everybody who's joined us already. It's brilliant. We've got over 50 people joined today. So we hope that you've had a really lovely summer, but obviously it's results day next Thursday, and I'm sure that everyone's got questions about kind of what happens next. You've not had to think about it for a few weeks, which is amazing. So that's where we can help you today. My name's Rebecca. I'm part of the school's engagement team at the college. So some of you may have seen me before giving assemblies at your school last year, but yeah, it's great that you've joined us again today. I'm really pleased that I've joined today by Kay, who's from our admissions team, and Amy, who heads up our student support team. I'll let them introduce themselves and give you a bit of an overview about the kind of things they think you need to know about how we enrol and support our students once they're with us. There's a useful email address. We'll share that with you. It's ineedsupport@MK College. We'll put that in the chat. And there's also a web address that hopefully you've received. It's mkcollege.ac.uk/next steps. We'll also share that in the chat. That's where you're going to find a lot of information. Obviously, with the amount of people joining, we think there probably are going to be a lot of questions. We'll try to get to all of them, but if you listen, we might cover your question. Somebody else is bound to have the same question as you. So have a listen, and if you think your question hasn't been asked, then please feel free to go for it. So I'm now going to hand over to Kay. As I said, Kay's from our admissions team, so she's going to talk through the kind of enrolment process and kind of what happens from results day. So over to you, Kay.
Thanks, Rebecca. Yeah, so as Rebecca said, my name's Kay Dwight, and I'm responsible for all the team who will have probably done all the admissions process with you so far. So I'm imagining that most of the people on this call have already been into college, probably had an interview, got an offer. So it'll be my team that will have been working behind the scenes to have made all that happen. And then they will help to get you all enrolled and get you started on your course at the beginning of next year. And then another part of my team will also help to support with any bursary applications, and if you think that you're eligible for some sort of financial support while you're at college. So I've got a team that sort of look after both. So if I just briefly go through what's going to happen over the next kind of couple of weeks, just so you know, and then if I haven't covered everything, as Rebecca said, please feel free to ask some questions. I believe, Rebecca, they can be put in the chat, I think, is that correct, if anyone wants?
Yes, that's the best way to do it. If you want to come on camera, then you can, but I think probably the easiest way to do it is just type it in the chat, and then we can make sure we're covering everything off, and it'll help to keep things moving. Thanks.
Brilliant. Okay, so now let's assume for a minute that you've all already put in an application with the college, that you've had an interview and that you've got an offer. I'll cover that first of all, and then I'll cover if you haven't and this is the first time that you've thought about coming to college. Excuse me. So assuming that you've already come into college, you've had your interview and you've got your offer, most of you will be waiting for your GCSE results before that you can come in and actually enroll with us. And as you know, I'm sure you know, GCSE results day is next Thursday. I believe it's the 25th. So you will be getting your GCSE results, I imagine early in the morning. It depends where you're studying on the timing with the schools and so on. So you'll be picking up your results. Now, the night before, you should have in your inbox, in your email, a link from us as a college, because we will be emailing out an email with a link which you will be able to click on once you've got your GCSE results, which means that you can enroll with us online. You don't have to come back into college to enroll in person. You can enroll online, as long as you do actually have a copy of your GCSE results that you're able to upload as part of the enrolment. Now you can take a picture of your GCSE results, you can scan it in, it depends how you want to do it, but as long as you've actually got your GCSE results, you'll be able to enrol online next Thursday onwards. You can come in, so you'll be sent an email with a link, and it's easiest for all of you to enroll online, to be honest. But if you don't particularly want to, you'd rather come in, you can come in and you'll be able to book a place on one of our advisory days. And the link for booking a place is going to go live later on today or tomorrow. And you have to book in to see the area that you want to talk to. So you know you can come in if you want, but it's probably easier to think about enrolling online. So you will receive an email, and in there will be an individual link that you'll click on, and you will be able to enroll on the course on which you were offered a place at your interview. So they will come in, those emails will come in ready for GCSE results. So the point is, when you've got your GCSEs, you will then have everything you need to be able to enroll with us. You will also be asked to upload a photograph as part of the enrolment process. So any photo, we don't want photographs with filters. You know, it needs to be rather like a passport photograph, because that's be used as part of your ID card. So you'll be able to do that all from your home anytime from when you've got your results. If you don't want to do that online, you can book via our website and book to come in. Having done that, you will get a phone call from the area where you're going to study. So say you've enrolled in, I don't know, media. Somebody from the media department will be phoning you over the next sort of week. I can't guarantee that everyone's going to get a phone call on GCSE results day. In fact, you're very unlikely to, because we'll get a lot of people coming into us, and so the team will be dealing with them. But within the week, you should get a phone call from the area where you're studying, and they will talk to you about your results, about what you've been enrolled on, to make sure that it's the right course for you. If your GCSE results were worse than you were expecting, they might review what you were offered and maybe talk to you about, well, maybe you go down a level, maybe you might be enrolled on level 3. It might be more appropriate that you're enrolled on level 2, for example. So don't panic if you don't get the GCSE results that you want. If you've been given an offer with us, the department will talk to you about your alternatives for, and you can still come and study with us. So that will happen within the next week. And the only other thing I want to talk about at this point is when you enroll online, you get an email to confirm, and it points you to the next steps page on the website. Now there is a link in this chat, and there's a lot to remember, but you'll get an email. It will give you the place on the website. Do go onto there for several reasons. First of all, it'll give you all the information about booking on for induction. Now you can make a note in your diary now, induction. We've got an induction session where you'll be asked to come in before the start of term, and that's on Thursday, the 8th of September. All students are being asked to come in on Thursday, the 8th of September, to come and collect their ID badge, to come and meet the curriculum team to talk about the timetable. They'll be walking away with, your first session, certainly when you'll be in the following week, hopefully your timetable, and you'll also be able to come and talk to somebody from Amy's team who'll take over from this in just a second. And also you'll be able to talk to bursary. But the other thing on that next steps page, apart from being able to book on your induction, you've got all sorts of information there about bursary, about how to get here, about who you're likely to see when you first arrive, and about kit. Some of the areas you will need kit. So hair, beauty, for example, you need kit. Some of it is like uniforms and so on, and all that information you'll find on that page on the website. It's a really, really useful page, and you'll get all that in an email when you've actually enrolled with us. But we've also put the link in the chat for you today. So I think that's probably enough talking for me at the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over to Amy, who is our Group Director for Inclusion, and she looks after sort of all student welfare and make sure that everybody's okay while they're at college. So over to you, Amy.
Thank you, Kay. So yeah, as Rebecca and Kay have said, I'm here really to talk about all of the support that we can offer you when you start with us come September. And it may well be that you've already had some conversations with members of my team. So I oversee additional learning support. So if you've got an education, health and care plan, or if you've had any kind of support in school or wherever you were previously, it's really important that you tell us about that so that we can get the opportunity to find out about what works for you and equally what doesn't work for you. So that's one part of what I do. I also oversee the work of the Wellbeing and Resilience team. So again, if you've had any kind of challenges around anxiety and things like that in the past, there's a team of people that can work to support you, and the safeguarding team are a part of that as well. I also oversee the careers team. So sometimes when students start in college, they may start on their course and then think, actually, I'm not absolutely convinced this is right for me. So there's a lot of opportunities within those first few weeks for you to be having those conversations with your teachers or your support staff, and potentially looking to work with the careers team to see if there's something that might suit you better. I also work alongside the student engagement team. So we look at all of the kind of activities that make college come to life for you. So it's not just around what you're learning in your vocational, so be that motor vehicle or beauty or what have you. We've also got English and maths, and we have your personal development. So lots of stuff that we do around that. So in essence, the reason I'm here today is to give you the opportunity to ask any questions you may have about all of that other stuff around what you're here to learn, if you like. The biggest message from me is if you do have any concerns or hopes or anything like that, let us know about that, because if there's anything, we have vast experience among us, so anything that you're worried about, we'll have come across that in the past before. So please do reach out. Again, if you'd rather do it confidentially, you can use the I Need Support email address. But the main thing is, if you haven't yet told us in your application, you can let us know at enrolment. So, for example, if you're dyslexic, or if you have an issue with your hearing, or you have a medical need or anything like that, let us know. If you're a young carer, anything at all like that, just so that we can really build a package of support around you. So for me, that's the message from me, really. Just have a chat with us, really. Let us know about yourselves, and then I'm happy to answer any specific questions there might be.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Kay. Thanks, Amy. So I can see we've got some questions in here already. So brilliant. Thank you to everybody who's put those in. So I'm just going to go for them in no particular order, but this is quite an easy one, I think. So Leah's asked, what time will the induction sessions run? Okay, do you want to cover that off?
Yeah, so the induction session, it's all on the 8th, and you won't be asked to stay all day. You're really just coming in to sort of pick up some information. You'll be able to book on in the morning, and I believe it's something like 10 till 12:30. I think it's something like roughly that in the morning, or the afternoon, which is about 1:30 till 4:30. I might have the timing slightly wrong, but that's roughly like is around there. And then in the evening, you can come between the sort of between 5 and 6:30. So you can book on a morning session, an afternoon session, and an evening session. And the induction sessions will be held at the campus where you will have had your interview or where you'll be studying. So if in doubt, if you're not sure which, if you have a quick look on the website, it should tell you where you're studying, or you can always email the admissions team. Thank you. Claire's put the right times into the chat.
Leah, also have a look at that induction day link that Claire's also put in there, because there'll be lots more information on there about what to expect, which campus you're going to and things like that. So yeah, that's really helpful.
So if you've already started, there are some students who will already have started college. And so if you're doing ESOL, so English for Speakers of Other Languages, or if you're on one of our inclusive learning courses, you won't be coming to the induction. You won't have been invited to the induction because you'll already be here. You'll have your own induction. So I think there was a question around there saying I've already started, and that's fine. You don't need to come in on that day because you'll already be here. There's no requirement to wear uniform or anything like that. You're just going to come in, you're going to pick up your timetables, meet your curriculum staff, pick up your ID badge, and then if you need more information about kit and so on, that you'll be able to ask questions there. It is only for people who are studying on our full-time programs. It doesn't include anyone on HE, even if that's even though that might be a full-time. So I saw a question about South Central IOT. This is for predominantly for our school leavers. The anyone on an HE course, or an access course, for example, if you're an older student, even if you're 19, you're considered as an older student, they'll be running their own inductions, which you'll be hearing about. This is predominantly for our school leaver students.
Brilliant, thanks, Kay. So I can see a question here from Atia, who's applied online but hasn't been invited for an interview yet. So is kind of wondering about timings and stuff for that.
What I would suggest is that you go back and email the admissions team. At the moment, we're not really doing interviews anymore. We're just telling everybody to, if you haven't had your interview yet, so you won't have had an offer, to book onto and come in to see us on one of the advisory days. Because it's a little bit late to be doing interviews now, really, with GCSE results next week. It would be easier and quicker for you to come straight in next week and book onto one of the advisory days. Now, the links of those are going to open after this chat. The same would apply for anyone on this call who hasn't put in an application. There might be people on this call and they've seen this advertised and it's the first time they thought about coming to college. That's absolutely fine. Don't go and put in an application now. And in fact, from next week, you won't even be able to put in an application. Do look for when the links are open, and then you can book and come in and talk to the teachers on advisory days with your GCSE certificate in your hand if you've got them, and we'll be able to enrol you straight away without having to go through an application process. That will also cover anyone on access. I think I saw a question about that as well. Yes, you can come and book on an advisory day to talk to us about access. We have people here from that department too.
Thanks, Kay. Charlotte's asked about for South Central Institute of Technology. So that's one of our HE provision courses and stuff. Have you got any advice for Charlotte about when she's going to receive her timetable and stuff? Is it best to contact the South Central IOT directly?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Claire, would you mind seeing if you can find or give Charlotte an email address for the IOT? if you can, thank you. Hopefully you can hear me. So Rihanna here, this might be one for you, Amy, has asked about for a student who's got an EHCP, are they just going to follow the same process as everybody else, or is there something different that they need to be doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you've met with, so you may have met with a member of my team called Steve. It's altogether possible. And there's another question about wellbeing, so I'll get onto that. You may have met with somebody called Jess. So if you've had those conversations, they will have made arrangements. For some students, they're having transition days over the summer. Generally speaking, even if a student is considered to be high needs funded, which means there's some more funding attached and they have a higher level of support, you'd still be coming into those transition days unless you've, in the same way as everyone else, unless you've expressed the fact that you particularly don't want to. So there will have been conversations held with you, I would hope. In the event that that hasn't happened and what you've expected to happen hasn't happened, then by all means you can contact me and I'll put my email address in the chat for you, because by this point I would have hoped that any specific arrangements would have been made. Equally, there was a query around wellbeing meetings, and again, I would have expected that to happen. So for where those questions are coming through, I will pick those up myself to just make sure that any arrangements that you thought were taking place will happen. Okay.
That's great. Thanks, Amy. Kay, this might be one for you. So Jessica's asked about timetables. Will they stay the same for the first few weeks? Jessica says she's starting college on the 7th of September.
Yes, timetables should stay the same unless you're an ESOL student or independent living. Everything starts on the 12th. Yeah. So I would suggest that you contact your own area if you're starting on the 7th, because they will have their own induction. I imagine that's probably the independent living, inclusive learning department. So they will they've got their own induction, they've got their own timetables, and they're doing everything slightly differently. So I would suggest contacting the department directly for that. I did also see quite a lot of stuff about kit and equipment and so on. The next steps page on the website has got all the information. All the department have contributed to that. So they've all said what you're going to need in terms of uniform and kit and so on. So I would definitely keep an eye on that page, because it's got all the information that you're going to need. If you think that it hasn't answered your question, you can either phone and try and contact someone, or if you're really concerned about it and you're worried, then please do book onto one of the advisory days and come and enroll then and talk to the staff. We were very sort of restricted with the numbers of people we could have on site during COVID, which is obviously understandable. And so we put everything online. We are less restricted with numbers. However, you know, enrolling online is still a lot easier for most people. You know, you don't got to travel in and get lifts and all the rest of it. But if you really have got a lot of questions and you're anxious and you think, oh, I really would rather enroll when I've got people I can talk to, please do book on. That isn't a problem. I don't, you know, I would hate everybody to sort of be sitting at home worrying about things like kit if they can come in. And just to say that you know, it'll be after this session that all the links go live for that.
Yeah. So Thomas has asked when he needs to order his kit or uniform by. Thomas, yeah, like we said, have a look on that next steps page. So it's mkcollege.ac.uk/next steps. If you look back up through the chat, then Claire's put it in there. But yeah, that'll have information, and you wouldn't be expected to come in on your first day in your kit, because we know that sometimes that takes a while to order. And also we don't want anybody to be ordering kit if they might change their mind and do a different course or decide to go somewhere else or whatever. For people that are putting their hands up, I'm just going to go through the questions in the chat. If you can put your question in the chat, that would actually be easier. I'm not sure if you'll be able to come on camera or not, because this is a webinar setup. So yeah, if you can put it in the chat, that'd be ideal. But otherwise, I'll try and come to you if we can get you on camera, so you can ask, or at least turn your mic on. So Claudia's asked, you know, I think as we get to this stage and it's a week or so a bit away from results day, people might be worrying a little bit about what happened in their maths and English. So what happens if somebody doesn't do as well in their maths and English as they were expecting and they don't get the grades they need? What would happen then, Kay?
Well, certainly everybody will be getting a conversation with a member of the team, and it really depends whether you have kind of met the criteria for your course. It might be that you're still able to do the course that you've applied for, and it might be that actually you might need to redo your maths or your English, and so the team feel that it was probably appropriate that, for example, you start at a level 2 or a level 1 instead of maybe the course that you were offered on. I think the point to take away is you wouldn't be the first person who's come to the college and not got the GCSE results that you wanted. And, so we are incredibly, as Amy said earlier, we're incredibly experienced of dealing with, students across the board. And there isn't a situation that we haven't come across before. And you shouldn't worry unduly about not getting your GCSEs that you wanted. We can still find a place for you in the college. We've got lots of alternatives that we might be able to offer you. And we've got sort of teaching assistants, and we've got, we do run maths and English, obviously. If you need to redo it, it is part of our course. So I think don't worry, don't spend sleepless nights being concerned about it. You will get a phone call, and don't not enroll. Please go ahead and fill in your link or book in and come in. If you think, oh, I was going to enroll online, but actually I've had a bit of a mare with my GCSE results and they're really not what I was expecting, do just book on and come in and talk to the team on site. And then, as Amy said, we've got a careers team as well who can support you and talk to you about your alternatives as well. So it certainly isn't the end of the world, and we can find something for you. So don't worry unduly.
Brilliant, thank you, Kay. Yeah, so a couple of questions that you might have heard the answer to now, but just to say, yeah, for induction, no uniform is required. You're just coming in, as Kay said, to collect things like your student ID badge, get information about bus passes if you need that, if you want to apply for a bursary, things like that. So it's kind of an information gathering session. You'll meet your members of your teaching team, your tutors, find out when you're coming in the week after and things like that. So you don't need to wear your uniform for that. Jamie's got a query here about not being able to find the right t-shirt on the website. Jamie, it's probably worth, again, when you speak to your tutor, if you enroll online and then they phone you back, ask your tutor then, or if you're coming in for an advisory day, you can ask them. I can see Claire's been going ahead and answering my questions. So I've got a question here from Shashvin talking about apprenticeships and degree apprenticeships after studying access to HE computer science. I would recommend that you contact our careers team. So their email address is careersteam@mkcollege.ac.uk, because they'll be able to, it's probably quicker than me trying to go through it now, and they'll be able to look at all your options and give you that information. So Angela's saying, what about those people, or maybe she's talking about herself, who's not confident using the IT links? What are other ways of getting in touch? Again, Angela, if you want to book on for an advisory day, that you would book online for that, but that's probably the easiest way of doing it. And then you could speak to somebody in person. You would need to book online to do that, but then after that you'd have a face-to-face appointment with somebody. I feel like I've answered that question about the timetables.
Can I just emphasize about the time?
Yeah.
I've seen quite a lot of people saying, what's the timetable for this? What's the timetable for that? There's an awful lot of timetables, because each area might run a different timetable. So for example, I'll just give you an example with electrical level 2. There's one timetable for people who need to do electrical level 2 with maths. There's one timetable for people doing electrical level 2 with English. And then there's another timetable for people doing electrical level 2 who need to do maths and English. So for electrical level 2, if you've applied for that, there are 3 different timetables depending. Now, we can't give you what timetable you're doing because we don't know what your maths and English grades are at the moment. Yeah. And it's pretty similar across the board. So we're not able at this session to give anybody any timetables. You will be getting your timetables on your induction session, because we need to look at your results first, so then we can see which group you'll go in and therefore which timetable. However, just to say, most timetables say you're going to be in sort of 3 days a week, roughly. I can't say every single student on this call will only be in for 3 days, because some it might tip over to 4 days, depending on if you needed maths and English, for example, you might be in for 4 days. But all of you, the study program that you've applied for, it was a vocational part of it. There's the maths and English if you need it, and if you don't, then we do other things instead. And then you've got all the kind of work experience side around it. So it's really important that you bear in mind it's a kind of combination of all of that makes up your qualification. So I can't give anybody any timetables, there is too many of them, but you'll be in roughly 3 days, and you'll certainly be given next week on the 8th, sorry, what more or less what your timetable will be, and certainly the first session that you're going to be in the following week. You will have once you're here, you'll be told about an app that you can download to a phone if you've got a phone, where you'll be able to see your timetable on an app, but you can't do that until you're actually in on the 12th. So going forward, you'll have visibility of your timetable. But I just wanted to say that. So there's a lot of questions that are saying, what's my timetable for this? We can't tell you, but you will be in roughly 3 to 4 days, depending on what you're doing and whether you need to do maths and English.
Excellent. So hopefully we're getting through questions about timetable. So yeah, basically come in on the Thursday the 8th, and you'll be given information about when you're starting the week after, so the week from the 12th of September. I'm just trying to look. People talking about like needing extra support and stuff. If that's you, hopefully you've heard that Amy's given the email address inneedsupport@mkcollege.ac.uk. If you enroll online, when you get that call back from a tutor or from a member of the department, talk to them then. If you come in for an advisory day, let people know then. As both Kay and Amy have said, over the years, with the number of students we've seen and the amount of time we've been in Milton Keynes, we have supported thousands and thousands and thousands of students. So you won't be the first person to experience whatever problem you're experiencing, but you just need to maybe be a little bit brave and talk to somebody about it and say, I need some help. But we will definitely be signposting that to you. It's shared quite a few times in the chat here. Claire's put it in again. I need support at mkcollege.ac.uk. If you email that email address and say what support you need, what you might be worried about, then we'll be able to pick that up with you. Sorry, I'm trying to see.
I've seen a question about transportation if you live outside Milton Keynes. As a college, we don't have any specific college transport, and it's really important actually that if you've applied to come to us, that you do have a think about how you're going to get here, because we don't have like a college bus or anything going around and picking people up. You are responsible for getting here. I'm saying here, I'm in Saffron Way. We've got two main campuses. You are responsible for getting to the college yourself. If you think that you might be eligible for a bursary, we might be able to help you with that, but we don't fund people. If for example, you lived in, I don't know, Bedford, and you've applied to do something that Bedford College deliver, we wouldn't be able to fund the transport to get here if you could go to Bedford if it's nearer. So it's really important point actually. Do have a think about how you're going to get here, because we don't have any kind of college transport. As Claire's just put in, so yes, absolutely, you can get cheaper transport from an all-in-one card, for example. But if you live a little bit out, it is up to you. But we don't, unfortunately, have any kind of college bus or anything.
Tanya's asked, she said she's had an interview but not heard if she's been accepted for hairdressing, so what does she do next? Kay, do you think the best thing to do is for Tanya to email admissions? Yeah, so Tanya, email, again, this will be in the chat somewhere, but it's admissions@mkcollege.ac.uk. If you give them your full name and stuff, they'll be able to look you up on our system and see where you are in terms of your application and stuff. Trying to see if you've got any other ones. Yeah, so again, if anybody's just joined and is wondering about timetables, come to see us on the 8th of September bookings, come in for your induction session, and that's when you'll meet the member of the team and find out more about you know, when you're coming in the week after. We don't have, as Kay said, again, for those of you who heard, we don't have access to timetables now. They'll still be worked on, and like we said, because we don't know what your grades are going to be, then they'll be worked on from results day. Lily said that she's doing fashion, and apparently there's only level 3 available, but a friend of hers did level 2. So I don't know if anybody off the top of their head here knows about the levels for fashion. No,
it is just level 3 fashion. There tends to be a more sort of generic art and design at level sort of 1 and 2, and then you specialize in level 3. So then that's when you might go into fashion, or you might go into photography, or you might go into graphic design. But the level 1 and 2 is as a more generic, they kind of cover a bit of all of them, because not everybody wants to specialize straight from day one in that particular area. So
so
it is
Lily,
only level 3.
if your predicted grades are that you think you're eligible to do the level 3, if you've applied for level 3, great. But if not, then I think it's probably best to come in for an advisory day now, isn't it? And bring your grades in with you, and then we can talk about what's right for you. Because as Kay said, you might do the level 2 art course, art and design, and then move on to level 3 once you've got that one. Sam here said, who do I speak to about having special equipment for my course? So Sam, I don't know if this is like assistance equipment or if you mean kit, because if it's kit, then have a look on that mkcollege.ac.uk/next steps webpage, because that's got information about kit. In terms of special equipment, maybe I can't think what those things might be, Amy, like assisttive technology.
Yeah, absolutely. As Rebecca's saying, if it's something that we need specifically for you in terms of how you can access the course, that'll be an email to I need support MK College. I've also seen there's been a couple of queries around speakers of other languages and people who may really struggle with English. So again, either book in to come along to one of the advisory days, or again, feel free to email. I appreciate if English isn't your first language, that might be a bit tricky, just with really basic details, and we can get back to you then, because we do offer ESOL courses. So that would be one for that.
Okay, I'm just going back through. Somebody here's asked about trying to find work. Again, it might be that you could speak to our careers team while you're here, because we get lots of organisations contacting us saying, you know, we're looking for people to come and work for us as, you know, part-time jobs, Saturday jobs, whatever. We don't have a problem with students having jobs when they're at college, as long as it doesn't interfere with their timetable and the work that they need to do. So yeah, definitely speak to the careers team. You'll find out about that when you start, but if you want to email them, it's careersteam@mkcollege.ac.uk, and they'll be able to help you. When does enrolment finish? So somebody's asked a very sensible question, Kaylee. So it starts on results day, the 25th, but when have you got to enrol by? What's our deadline?
I would say enroll as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Just because it means that you can get your call, you can make sure that you're on the right course, that we can get your timetable quicker. We do take enrolments while we've got places right up until, I think it's something like the 4th of October, but I mean, nobody wants to be doing that, because that's, you know, you've missed the beginning of term. So my advice would just be as soon as you can. Now, we have advisory days, GCS, we have them for sort of a week, really. So we've got the main advisory day on GCSE results, and then the day after, and then all the following week, apart from bank holiday, because we're all going to go and have the day off. Yeah, we've got advisory days then as well. So those sort of coincide with when you'd be able to enroll online as well. So you can still, I mean, if you've made an application and you've got an offer and you've got the link that's come to you, you know that you can enroll. If you're busy on the Thursday and Friday, you could do it on a Saturday or Sunday. That's the beauty of having an online enrolment. So I would say at the very latest the week after GCSE results day, but please do try and get it in as soon as possible, just because, you know, we do get filled up. I mean, courses do get filled up. And it would be terrible if you just sort of put it off and then you try to come onto a course which is full.
Yeah, enrollment is
So
basically you saying, yes, I definitely want to come and study this course with the college. So yeah. I've got a great question here from Lily. Would I need to bring a laptop? Lily, you wouldn't need to bring your laptop in if you're coming in before the start of your course, but if you want to bring a laptop or tablet or whatever when you're studying with us, then absolutely that's a great idea. We do have laptops and tech equipment, obviously, that students can book out if they need it for work when they're on site. But if you've got your own laptop, you can get onto the Wi-Fi and stuff with us, and obviously that's really helpful to have your own device. So yeah. Hazel's asked, I'll be 19 on the 2nd of September. Will I have to pay for my course?
yeah, I think I responded. I think I wrote replied. Well, if I didn't, then I meant to. I was just going to say it. Honestly, it depends. It depends on what you're going to do. It depends on your previous qualifications. So I would suggest that the best thing to do is to actually book onto an advisory day when the link opens later. Or if you don't want to wait till then, just email the admissions team and somebody will be able to get back to you. So
again, this is a very current question, having everything that's happened over the last couple of years. So Jashmi's asking, are the lessons face-to-face or online? Most of them are going to be face-to-face. It depends on different courses. Some of them might still teach some stuff online. So again, this is really the kind of question that you'd want to ask either when you come in for your induction session on the 8th of September or when you get that phone call back from a tutor once you've enrolled with us. So yeah, ask them and they'll be able to tell you that. And obviously all courses are slightly different.
Most courses are face-to-face most of the time, just to manage expectations. So you will be expected to be in most of the time. It's certainly, I'm not going, we don't, unless it particularly says, and this is for the adults really, it's an online course. Most of the courses are face-to-face for most of the time, just in case you're thinking, well, I live quite far away, and so I could do it online. That wouldn't be how you would be expected to be in most of the time. But we do, online learning really does have a good place. We were very good at it as a college. We've got some great resources. So we do encourage a blend, but most of what we do, especially if it's a very practical course, it's hairdressing and I don't know, welding and all that kind of stuff. It's not quite so good in your kitchen, online. So.
Lily's asked about summer projects and do they need to be ready by the 12th of September on the day you come back or start your course? Lily, again, that's a question to ask either when you come in on the 8th of September for your induction or when you get the phone call back from the tutors who will be calling everyone back who's enrolled online. So yeah, I'll ask the tutors, they'll all have their different, I'm assuming probably, but yeah. Lilia wants to know about receiving a login for the college website, and I'm assuming you mean like the online learning portals and stuff. Again, ask the tutors.
That'll all happen the week sort of once you start from the 12th. From the 12th, that's when you'll get all your IT accounts and you'll get all your logins and so on. You can go on the college website now, but if in terms of your kind of your learning platforms and your all the ability to get the apps and all that kind of thing, it'll all happen from the 12th.
Yeah. So Lucy's wondering about what exam boards we use and if it might be different from the one that she's already used. I don't know if anybody can remember what we use for our maths and English. No. No, sorry, Lucy, you'll have to
It's AQA.
Oh, there we go, AQA. So I don't know if that is different, but our tutors for maths and English are really, really well set up to make sure that you can pass with us. So they're experts. They've been doing it, for a long time for a lot of students. Jessica's wondering about what to bring on her first day again. Have a look on that next steps page, Jessica. There's loads of information on there and your tutors will tell you. Booking on for an induction session, Heba, have a look on the next steps page, and that's when the induction sessions will go live on there. For inductions, you need to bring anything. Not really, it's just bring yourself, so it's more about you collecting stuff from us. I'll read if there's any other questions on here that are majorly outstanding. Sorry about this, not very exciting for those of you watching, me reading questions.
I'll just chip in as you're reading. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say there's been a query around extracurricular stuff. So we do have a student engagement team who has a calendar of events. So if there's something like Neurodiversity Week or LGBTQ events and things like that, so there's lots of stuff that goes on. But you get the opportunity when you become a student to be a student rep. So each different every single group has a student rep that then comes together as part of student council. So if there's anything you want to be seeing that isn't taking place, then you can suggest that. Lots of sporting activities and other clubs and things like that. So there is an awful lot going on around your course.
Brilliant.
I was just going to say, Rebecca, there was a question saying, can I just walk in for an advisory day? Do I have to book? You do need to book for our induction day. You also need to book for an advisory day. You can't just walk in for either. It's just simply so we can make sure that everybody's not queuing for too long. So and the you know the teachers who are going to see you, that they're able to kind of manage who's there, because in previous years, before we started a booking system, some people were here for like 4 or 5 hours. I mean, it's not ideal. So it's much better to have a booking system, and then you won't be waiting for too long, and you'll actually get to see the people that you want to see. So yes, you do need to book. We're not restricting numbers as in terms of COVID, but we are trying to just manage the experience for yourself, and also so the teachers, they're able to manage who's coming to see them. So you definitely do need to book. If you just turn up, we will ask you to actually book a place on. So just wanted to raise that.
Tanya, you've still got your hand up. I'm going to try and allow the mic for you and see if you want to talk. Tanya, should be able to talk now.
Yeah. So sorry, with all the bursaries and everything, obviously when do we need to when do we need to apply for those again, because I missed the end of that when you mentioned it earlier?
It's okay.
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually, because I don't think I've really touched on bursaries. So bursaries, you can actually start applying as soon as you have enrolled, and they are done online as well. And I know a few people on here have said that they're not that fond of doing stuff online. We do have some paper versions, but as a college, we are trying very hard to support a sort of a sustainable and environmentally friendly environment, and we're trying to do things online, really because it reduces the amount of paper that we have to keep photocopying. There are links already for online bursary. So as soon as you've enrolled, you can go and click onto those, and it'll ask you what course you're on and so on. There is no end. You can apply for bursary. So it might be, for example, that your situation changes through the year and you become eligible for bursary halfway through the year for one reason or another, and so you can actually apply for bursary all through the year. So there isn't a kind of cut-off, but obviously the sooner you do it after you've enrolled, the sooner we can process your application, and then we can offer you support. As a turnaround, we generally say sort of 2 weeks from application to the end, just because there's I'm sure you appreciate, we have a lot of students who come through at the same time. You will be asked to provide proof of income or benefits. It's all in the guidance of what you'll need. It's all there online, and you could also email the bursary. I'm not sure, Claire, if you're able to find the bursary email if you need particular advice as well. And there are different bursaries depending on how old you are, what course you're on, and so on. But it's all on. Again, you can find all this on the next steps page. And so, yeah, the answer to your question really is there isn't any end date, but the sooner you can do it after you're enrolled, the sooner you'll get your get your support. If I just really quickly tell you the kind of support you might be given. So food, anyone getting a bursary is entitled to some food, and that is done through we activate your ID card that you have, and then you're given a certain amount per day for the times that you're timetable to come into college. So then you're able to get some food from our refectories across both of our sites. And if you live more than 3 miles away from the campus, you would be eligible for some travel support. So we tend to go with bus tickets wherever possible. So you'd get an Arriva bus ticket, which means you'd be able to use the buses around Milton Keynes. They're great because you can use them at the weekends and in the evenings as well. So, you know, it's worth having. And then if you've got children, you might be eligible for childcare. You should be eligible for support with sort of kit, any trips that you have to go on as part of the course, all that kind of thing we can help you with as well, possibly with IT support. But I would say food, travel, childcare, and kind of kit are the main things that we support with. So I'm hoping that that's answered your question. Hopefully that's helped. And I think Claire's put the bursary email into the chat as well, which is great. So you know, do email them if you've got any more questions.
I was just going to say, we've got other people who've put their hands up. I just want to say we're not going to be able to really discuss anything too specific or kind of personal if I bring you onto the mic. So if you've got a question about your own specific situation, then we're not going to be able to go through that on, you know, now, because that's just not fair for everybody else listening. And also if it's something personal to you, then this probably isn't the right place to be discussing it. So if that is you, the people who've got their hands up, I think you've got the email addresses that you should use. So if you've got a query about help that you need, then go for I need support at mkcollege.ac.uk. If you have got a question about how you enrol with college or where your application is or anything like that, then email admissions@mkcollege.ac.uk. But yeah, hopefully that helps. So I feel like I'm probably not going to bring anybody else on mic now, because I just feel like it's probably not the right place for us to go through that sort of stuff. So we're kind of coming to the end of the Q&A now, so I'll just do a little wrap up, and if anybody's got any other burning questions they don't feel that we've answered yet, then please put them in the chat and we'll come to them. So yeah, hopefully this has answered your questions. So to kind of summarize, if you've already applied to us and you've been made an offer, when you get your GCSE results on Thursday the 25th, check your inbox, look in your spam folders and junk folders and all that kind of stuff, because you'll have been sent an email from us, and that's how you enroll. So that's how you accept your place with us. So click on the link. It's going to have all the information you need. You're going to need to upload a picture of your results with your name on it. You're going to need to upload a passport type photograph of yourself that we can use for your student pass that keeps everybody safe when they're online. Staff and students have those. If you want to come in and talk to somebody, you don't want to enrol online, or you haven't applied to us, then book on for one of our advisory days. So that's an appointment when you'll come in, and it's basically kind of a one-stop shop. You can talk to the tutors, you can get an offer for a place, and you can enrol all in the same visit to us. Our website's got lots more information. Claire's put it in the chat lots of times. So it's mkcollege.ac.uk/next steps. That's our web address. Once you've enrolled with us online, you're going to receive a call from the course area in the week or so after you've applied. So if you get a call that's, you know, like an unknown number or whatever, then please answer that, because it's probably likely to be one of our tutors trying to call you. They're going to talk to you about your results. If they're all on track for what you were offered the place, then great, that's fine. You'll go onto the course level you were aiming for. If they were better or worse than you were expecting, than you were predicted, then the tutor, as I said, at that point will talk to you and say, okay, we're going to move you up or down a level. So that's a really important phone call to have. And then on Thursday, the 8th of September is your induction session. So that is basically where you can come in and get all the information you need to start your course the week after. So you're going to get your student ID badge. You're going to meet the team that are, you know, going to be part of your teaching and support team next year. You'll get information about when you're coming in the week after. If you haven't told us that you need support before then, that is the time to tell us. We've given you that email address, ineedsupport@mkcollege.ac.uk. That's another way that you can tell us now if there's any support with anything you need. Good luck with everything on results day next week. We're really looking forward to seeing you in September, and we hope you might be a bit nervous, but hopefully you're excited as well about starting with us. So I'm just going to see if there's any other major questions in here. So essentially there's a couple of questions in here about kind of levels and things like that. When you get your grades, then you're going to know what situation you're in. If your grades are very different, don't worry, still enroll. When you have that follow-up phone call from the tutor, they'll discuss that all with you. I don't know if there's anything Kay or Amy feel like I've missed that they want to.
I would just say if you've been offered and your results really aren't what you were expecting, then maybe book on an advisory day instead, rather than enrolling online and then having that sort of anxiety. I think if you suddenly find that you've not done as well as you thought in your GCSEs, I would suggest that you book on an advisory day and come in. It's much easier, and then we can talk about it there and then, rather than sort of moving you around and so on afterwards. I think that's probably one thing I would suggest. If you're a current college student, by the way, and you've done GCSEs with us, you come and pick up the results here on site at the business centre, and there's all sorts of information about that on social media. But anyone else would need to contact their school to find out how they get their results.
I'm just going to jump in, Amy, before you, if you have got anything to say. So Lily's made a good point. Is advisory day different to induction day? Yes. Induction day is for everybody to come in on the 8th of September and get, like we said, get your student badge, meet your tutors, find out about bus passes and anything else you need to do. So that's, you know, everybody's got to come in for that one. An advisory day is if you don't want to enroll online, or as Kay said, your results are very different from what you're expecting and you just want to chat with somebody about what level and stuff you should be on, then you book onto an advisory day. But hopefully our next steps webpage, www.mkcollege.ac.uk / next steps, will tell you all the information about which one's which. Sorry, yeah, we use lots of information. Jessica, you've had loads of questions and they've all been really good. So I would, I think on the 7th, if you're coming on the 7th, it's probably with inclusive learning. So they will be the ones to talk to you about that.
Yes, someone will get in touch with you, Jessica, and go through any queries that you've got. Brilliant.
Jashmi, open days, they're for students who so we'll be running those from next year for the year 11s, the new students. So there's not really any open days anymore. It's induction and then start of term if you don't need to come in for an advisory day. So as I said, hopefully that helps. Hopefully you've got ways of still knowing about how to get in touch with us. No problem, everyone who's saying thank you. Thanks to everybody who's joined us. As I said, best of luck with everything for next week. We hope it all goes swimmingly, but if there are any things that weren't what you were expecting, then please don't worry. We are absolutely here to support you, and we'll find you a place if we can at college. No worries. Enjoy the rest of your summer, everybody, and hopefully this weather cheers up just a little bit. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.